She's saying that men not expressing their emotions is because of patriarchal structures disincentivizing men from expressing their emotions.
And she would be right.
The reality is, if I take a girl out on a date and I start crying about something in the beginning of the date,
I am convinced more and more every day that these men with microphones want to hate women and will reach for any excuse to justify that, no matter how irrational and illogical it is.
there's like a 75 to 90% chance it's going to give the girl the ick.
If you went on a first date with a woman and she started crying her eyes out for whatever reason, I am meant to believe that you as a man would not be put off by that at all.
This is something that's often regulated by females.
So because it's more than likely a woman would be turned off by the idea of going on a date with a man who started crying his eyes out for whatever reason, it's justified to entirely blame women, and it's their fault that men can't express their feelings.
Wouldn't that turn you off too
here.
if a girl
What?
cried on a first date?
Yeah.
Yes, wouldn't it?
I mean, it depends.
No, you're supposed to sit in silence. I'm a man with a microphone. I'm not equipped for a rebuttal.
It depends.
If you're going to argue, it depends on the situation. If a woman crying in front of you on a date would bother you, there's a stand to argue that maybe women possess the capacity to feel the same way about a man crying on a date.
It would be more socially acceptable.
There is so much nuance to the discussion around men openly expressing their emotions to their partner.
Wouldn't be.
Yes, it absolutely would.
But the way it's discussed on these god-awful podcasts makes it sound like it's entirely black and white. The general consensus is men should never open up to women ever, because women can't handle it. Women won't find you attractive. Women will dump you.
There's no question.
No question.
Oh wow, he found a woman that agrees with him.
Like if you go to a party and
feel
there's
like
a
we're
girl
living in,
crying
like,
in the
different
corner,
reality
you're kind of like,
fields.
oh, poor
Wait.
girl. If the guy's doing it, you're like, what the hell?
But she only agrees with him because she brought up an entirely unrelated scenario that they're not discussing. Because again, this entire discussion is not black and white like they make it out to be. There is so many nuances. We are also choosing to think this way. No one's forcing us. There's no law saying that we have to think this way. You don't have to think so little of a man who's crying. You could have compassion, but you're choosing not to because you've been conditioned not to. This is a PSA for any woman who I may be interested in dating in the future. If your expectation of me is to withhold stuff from you, not open up to you, not be my authentic self with you because you can't handle it, please tell me before I ever even ask you out on a date, so I'm not going to waste my time having anything to do with you. You know how I know all women are not like that? Because I get inundated with comments and messages from women reiterating that they're not like that. And to all the men who comment that when they opened up to a woman, she just threw it in his face, used it against him, dumped him immediately, I say this with all the love in my heart. What exactly did you lose? You're better off without a good fucking riddance. You're scared to open up. So am I. But aren't you tired of it?